I took the night shift because I was desperate. It was the day after Clara's 3rd birthday. We had cake, balloons, a cheap unicorn piñata. She laughed as if the world hadn't just fallen apart beneath us. That night, after we tucked her in, Sarah showed me the envelope from the hospital. Leukemia. She couldn't even say it out loud. She just handed me the papers and broke down. We had savings, sure. But savings don't last long when every test, every vial of blood, every ounce of chemo eats at your bank account like acid. My old job as a delivery driver wasn't cutting it. The hours were long, the pay was a joke, and Sarah was begging me to stop, to be present. But how do you explain to someone that being present doesn't pay for medicine? So when I saw the ad, on a shady community board, night security needed, 25-hour cash, no experience required. I didn't ask questions. I just showed up. The building was tucked between a pawn shop and an abandoned theater, mid-century concrete box with narrow windows and yellow floodlights, the kind of place that still smelled like typewriters and old paper. Frank met me in a lobby, wiry, leathery, grey-haired with a smoker's rasp. He didn't shake my hand, just handed me keys and a flashlight. Do your rounds every hour. Don't fall asleep. Don't go past the boiler room. Stay out of the elevator. I raised an eyebrow. Why the elevator? He smiled without warmth. It hasn't worked in years. The first few nights were manageable, long, quiet, boring. I listened to podcasts to stay awake, ate cold sandwiches, texted Sarah to check in. Sometimes I even fell asleep sitting upright in the lobby chair, startled awake by the loud ding of the ancient wall clock. But by the 2nd week, the building began to feel wrong. The silence was too dense, like sound didn't want to live here. Then the elevator started acting up. At 12:03 a.m. on the dot, the doors would ding open, always empty, but never quiet. There was a kind of humming, a mechanical groan that echoed unnaturally. One night, as I peered inside, I swear I saw the cables twitch, like something heavy had just gotten off at another floor. I pressed the button to close the doors. Nothing. I pressed again and again, until my hands were slick with sweat. Then I heard it, clunk, 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 heavy boots on hollow steel. Inside the shaft, I radioed Frank. Elevator's making noise. There's something inside, static, then his voice, harsh. That elevator hasn't worked since '88. Stop screwing around. The line cut. I started doing extra rounds just to feel less useless. One night I heard movement in the basement and went to check it out. That's when I met Miguel. Small man, mid-60s maybe, thick accent, dressed in faded blue overalls and pushing a rusted mop bucket. He avoided eye contact. "You shouldn't be down here," he said without looking up. "I work here too," I replied. He grunted. "You work up there, not here. Here, no good." I tried to make small talk, asked how long he'd been there, what he meant. He paused, wringing out his mop. "You see things here. If you're smart, you no look, no ask." He glanced over his shoulder. "He don't like that." "Who?" He pointed straight upward. "El hombre sin cara, the man with no face." That night I dreamed of walls with eyes, and a voice that whispered my name from inside the floorboards. 7:10 a.m. I remember it precisely. I was sipping lukewarm coffee in the break room when the overhead lights buzzed once, then died. Pitch black. I clicked on the flashlight. The beam shook in my hand, and that's when I saw it. A figure on the far wall, not painted, not cast, a shadow. But it didn't move with my light. It stayed, like it had been burned into the wall. Its body was humanoid, but deformed. Limbs stretched too far, fingers too long, no head, just a jagged bump with cracks running down its sides. "Hello?" I called out. It didn't move. Then slowly the head tilted and it lunged. I jumped back, crashing into a chair. The light flickered, and it vanished, like it had never been there. But my skin stayed cold for hours, and every time I blinked I saw it again, waiting. Miguel didn't show up for 3 nights. I went looking. His mop bucket sat still by the stairs, water black as ink. A single cigarette burned to the filter lay nearby. The boiler room door was cracked open. I pushed it and froze. The walls were smeared with handprints. Black, wet, sticky. Hundreds of them, some the size of a child's, some too large to be human. They layered over each other like the frantic marks of drowning men. The stench hit me then like decay, sulfur and mold blended into something primal. On the ground was a yellowed newspaper clipping. Local janitor missing, 5th case this year. Witness reports dark figure seen in window. Then a sound, a low moan, deep, hungry. I turned. The shadow stood at the doorway. Its form was clearer now, fluid and broken, like melted plastic trying to be human. No face, no eyes. But it leaned forward, and I felt it smiling. I ran, not out of bravery, out of something deeper, survival, terror. The thing didn't chase like a man. It chased like smoke. It poured through cracks in the floor, slid along the walls, always one step behind. Up the stairs, down hallways, through maintenance doors. I could feel it behind me, heatless, cold, aware. My radio crackled violently. "Where the hell are you?" "What's happening?" Frank's voice screamed. I burst into the lobby. The exit was chained, padlocked from the outside. Panic took over. I rattled the doors, screamed for help. Then, "You were supposed to feed it." A whisper. So close, right behind my ear. I spun, flashlight flailing, and it was gone. Frank's office was open. I don't remember walking there, just stumbling through darkness. Inside, I found truth in red ink and manila folders. Photos of former guards, men in uniforms, some smiling, some faded, all marked missing. Notes scrawled on sticky pads. It prefers fear. Don't make eye contact. Feeding cycle monthly? Then Frank appeared behind me, pale, sweating, holding a shotgun. "You weren't supposed to find that," he hissed. Before I could speak, the air grew dense. The shadow rose behind him, a darkness inside a darker darkness. It opened, swallowed, him whole. He didn't scream. I grabbed the shotgun, used the butt to smash a window, and crawled through jagged glass and freezing wind. My hands bled, my knees gave out on the sidewalk. The street was empty, not quiet, empty, like the city had been abandoned. No lights, no sirens, not even wind. When I got home, I collapsed into Sarah's arms. "What happened to you?" she asked, her voice breaking. I couldn't answer. I just held her and whispered, "It's over." But I was wrong. It followed. Lights in our house flicker randomly now. Doors creak open on their own. Clara has nightmares, wakes up screaming about the Mirror Man. Every night at 3:17 a.m., my phone rings, no number. Just static and a soft voice saying my name. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of it, in reflections, in shadows, standing behind me in Clara's closet. I sleep with the shotgun beside my bed. I haven't used it yet, but I will. The ad is back. Same words, same building. Night security needed, no experience required, high pay. I drive past sometimes. I see the new guy pacing the lobby. He looks tired, worn down, just like I was. I should warn him. But the shadow needs to feed. And I need it to stay away, so I keep driving, and the cycle begins again.